All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about a technology that could, well, literally pave the way to a greener future. I'm talking about kinetic floors. Surfaces that can actually capture the energy from our footsteps and turn it into clean, usable electricity. Pretty cool, right? So picture this. Think about a super crowded city street, right? Millions of people, millions and millions of steps. All that motion, what if it wasn't just wasted energy? I mean, every single day, think about a busy train station, a shopping mall, or a stadium. That is a massive amount of kinetic energy just poof, disappearing. But what if we could grab it? What if every single step we took could help power the world around us? And yeah, that's the whole idea behind this. It's called kinetic energy harvesting. It's this amazing technology that looks at all our movement, not just as, getting from A to B, but as a power source just waiting to be tapped. To put it simply, it's all about harnessing the energy that's just already there, all around us. So instead of letting all those vibrations from cars or the force from our own footsteps just disappear into the ground, this tech swoops in, grabs it, transforms it, and actually puts it to work. It's genius. And we're not talking about a tiny, trivial amount of energy here. The force from just one step, like just your heel hitting the pavement, can generate a really surprising amount of power. Now, think about it. Multiply that by thousands, maybe even millions of footsteps in a busy city every single day. The potential here is just huge. Okay, so how does it actually work? How do you turn a simple step into electricity? Well, it's a super fascinating engineering puzzle, and it's led to some really brilliant solutions. So here's the main challenge. Most generators, right, they need to spin to create power. But a footstep, that's just a straight up and down motion. It's linear. So the real magic of these kinetic tiles is the mechanism inside that can take that simple press and efficiently turn it into a super fast rotation. And engineers have gotten really good at this over time. So the early versions, they use something called a rack and pinion system. Just think of a toothed bar pushing a gear. It gets the job done, but it's not super efficient, especially for the tiny, maybe 15 millimeter press you get from a footstep. But then you have the newer lead screw design, and this one is way more effective. It's specifically designed to take that tiny little push and turn it into a much bigger, smoother rotation. That means it spins the generator for longer and squeezes out a lot more power from the very same step. And just how much of a difference does that engineering upgrade make? Well, it's massive. Get this. By switching from that old rack and pinion to the new lead screw mechanism, researchers saw a staggering 184% increase in the energy they could generate from a single footstep. And you can see the proof right here in the numbers. The average energy per step just skyrockets from 247 millijoules to 702. I mean, that is a huge leap. And it just goes to show you, getting that mechanical design just right is absolutely crucial to making this whole thing work. Okay, so the science is solid, we've established that. But how does this stuff actually move from a lab into the real world? Well, this is where it gets really exciting and where companies like PaveGen enter the picture. This quote comes from Lawrence Kemble Cook, who's the CEO of PaveGen. And I think it just perfectly captures the ambition here. This isn't just about making some cool new gadget. It's about fundamentally changing the way we think about powering our public spaces. And they're not just talking a big game, they're actually delivering. A single footstep on one of their tiles generates about 5 watts of totally off-grid electrical energy. Now, to put that into perspective for you, just one single step is enough to power a standard LED light bulb for full 20 seconds. So just imagine 1,000 people walking over it. That's a lot of light, and it's all generated just by people walking around. Incredible. And look, this isn't just theory or some future tech concept. This is happening right now. PaveGen has used this tech, combined with solar, to power the lights for a football pitch in a Brazilian favela. They brought nighttime light to a college in Nigeria where there was none before. They've put up phone charging stations in busy shopping centers, and they're even part of a massive 92-kilometer smart track in Dubai. I mean, that is real, tangible impact. But of course, like any groundbreaking technology, it's not all smooth sailing. There are definitely some major hurdles to overcome before we start seeing these kinetic floors on every single street corner. It's not quite as simple as just laying down some new tiles. Okay, so for starters, these tiles have to be insanely tough. I mean, they need to survive everything from being submerged in a flood to dealing with freezing cold and blistering heat, not to mention vandalism. And they're designed to do all that for about 20 years. Then you've got the cost. Right now, it's pretty high, so production needs to scale up in a big way to make them more affordable. And there's also something called embodied carbon to think about. That's basically all the energy it takes to manufacture the tile itself. The goal is to have a tile pay back that carbon debt, generate more clean energy than it took to make, in under 2 years.
But even with those challenges, the vision for how this technology could fit into the smart cities of the future, well, it's just incredibly compelling.
Because when you start building clean, local power generation right into the infrastructure itself, the benefits just start stacking up. You get fewer emissions, and that means cleaner air and better public health. You get lower energy bills for the city and for its citizens. And you create much more resilient cities with infrastructure that can actually power itself, which is huge, especially during an emergency. And if you want to see a tangible payoff, just look at this. A study projected what would happen if a city like Los Angeles went 100% renewable. They found it could cut harmful particulate matter by almost 8%. But here's the kicker. That translates into an incredible $1.4 billion in health-related savings in just 1 year. That's the real-world value we're talking about when we invest in green energy. It's such a powerful idea, isn't it? That the simple collective act of all of us moving through our cities could actually help power them sustainably. These kinetic floors are so much more than just a clever invention. They're a powerful reminder that maybe, just maybe, the solutions for a better future are literally right there, waiting for us, right under our feet.